There is a good chance that the coach you are paying every month is teaching you nothing. And they do need it to stay that way, because the day that you don't need them is the day that they stop getting paid. So, welcome to the Weight Loss Podcast. I'm Matt. That's Courtney.
That's me.
More people than ever are paying more money than ever to someone that they found on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. And unfortunately, as much as we have benefited from the growth in online coaching over the last 5, 6, 7+ years, for someone in the seat that you are sitting in, there's no real way to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah.
So to speak. So, full transparency, we have, and I predominantly run an online coaching business with a little bit of help from Courtney, mostly my content girl.
Yeah.
But we've had experience in the online coaching world. We are not here to take a shit on other people, but we are here to run a bit of cleanup on aisle 3. Because too many times, I know I've been told by people that they have forked over cash money and have been given a generic program, be it a training program or a completely unsuitable meal plan, and then got to the end of week 8, week 10, week 12, and then, well, where we go from here. So by the end of this episode today, you are going to have the 10 red flags to look out for and the 10 green flags to look for, so that you stop funding the wrong people and stop setting money and time on fire. What do you think? Sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool. So normally this part of the podcast, we will do any sort of life updates. Do we have any life updates from last week?
I don't think so.
Other than the fact that Courtney's getting real good at running again.
Oh, I wouldn't say real good, but I'm
Compared to where
getting
you
a
were.
little bit back into running and it's going well. Other than that, no, I don't think we have any life updates. It's been a busy week.
Sure has. So let's dive in.
Mm-hmm.
We'd just like to set the stage here. So I have had now 20+ years experience in gyms personally. From a professional standpoint, coming up on 16 years now, combination of working with people in gyms, working with people online, in the online coaching space. Courtney has had experience in gyms before, has had some experience previously in the coaching world.
Yeah.
We
mostly is just more of an assistant to you,
Yep.
but yes.
The point is, we've seen a lot, we've been involved a lot. And I might say, in all due modesty, we maybe know a lot. We're about to find out.
We are.
So probably worth really just stating here that this is not to say that most coaches are not bad people. I know for me, the reason I do what I do now is the same as it was when I first started in 2010, which is I want to have an impact, no matter how small or how big, on people's lives, because I find it life affirming to know that maybe I can help people improve and get some similar benefits to their health and their confidence in their lives that I've got from this lifestyle. And a lot of us do get in for those reasons. It's just the love of helping others. But that is a separate thing to the systems that coaches roll out in their business, and not all of them are good. And from my perspective, I want the industry to be better, and that includes me too. Like what we're going to go through, I'm not immune to any of this.
No, we always strive to be better.
You have to. And I would also say to you listening or watching, everything that we're going to take you through today, bring it. apply it to me, apply it to the program, go for it. There's nothing to hide here, because this is not really about saying those people over there are not good, but these people over here are real good. No. I know for me, whenever someone puts an inquiry through about the academy program, I'm like, hey, go do your homework here, go stalk, go watch this video, listen to this podcast, go to this webpage, read this document, do your homework and apply the skepticism that you have to me, to us if you listen to the podcast, and to the program. Because, just a little slight tangent, the best students and the best clients I've ever been exposed to are the ones that can smell bullshit from a mile away.
Yeah.
And I would like to help encourage people to develop their bullshit detectors.
Yes.
To make sure that any money and time that is invested into a coach or coaches or a program actually gets you the intended return on investment. Anything you'd like to add to this? Because, man, I'm on the soapbox already.
You're going for gold. No, nothing from me. So I think we have our signs. We have our 10 signs.
Yep. So what we're going to do with each sign is, obviously, we're going to name it, and then we're going to tell you why it's a red flag, why it costs you or how it can hurt you, but then what to look for to make it a green flag.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
Courtney, kick us off. What is sign number 1?
Sign number 1 is cookie cutter meal plans.
Indeed. So we're starting with one that really gets me going straight away, which is just being handed, like, say, me, Courtney, you, we want to look better, we want to function better, we want to feel better, we want to just, have a bit more energy, improve our confidence, and we then go and fork over good money to hopefully get taught how to build habits that last and habits that stick. We are given what clearly is a generic, templated meal plan on a spreadsheet or a PDF that is clearly given to the people before me and will be given to the same people after me as well. That is arguably the reddest of red flags.
Yes.
For a number of reasons. Predominantly, what does a meal plan teach us?
Yeah. It doesn't teach us a lot at all. It doesn't factor in as well. Not only does it not teach us about food and nutrition, which I think is really essential, it also doesn't factor in our tastes, our intolerances. Sometimes I don't even factor in the lifestyle you like to lead. So are you vegetarian? Are you vegan by choice? These sort of things. So I find that they're very stock standard. They often don't allow for any variations.
For me, being someone who's a big proponent of education and empowering people and helping to make them self-sufficient, it doesn't teach you jack.
Yeah.
Jack shit, that is. I prefer, my personal standpoint here and my professional standpoint is, I prefer to help people develop the skills so that they can prescribe to themselves their own meal plan based on what their objectives are, what their personal tastes, tolerances, intolerances, in some cases beliefs, ethics. It can all work for you. Because I've used this example a million times. I'm now going to use it 1,000,001 because it still holds. Let's say you come to me and it's like, oh, I'll give you a meal plan, except you like eating steak and I am a vegan.
Yeah.
And I give you the vegan meal plan. Your response will be, which if you're not watching, is flipping the bird, because how's this going to work?
Yeah.
Same if you flip it. If you are plant-based and he's Matt, lover of meat, saying, hey, let's get the chicken into here, let's get the beef, and let's get the turkey and the fish and this, you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. So you may, and you've probably had experience with meal plans before, you may follow one for a couple of weeks and you may probably find yourself drop off because you can't sustain it, you don't like it. But then if you flip this forward or spin this ahead down the track, what are you learning that's going to stick with you long term? The answer, zilch.
Yes.
I also personally am of the belief that meal plans are not going to help someone who has a poor relationship with food. Because depending on how we're wired, if we're the sort of person that has a struggle with looking at food as in it's good or it's bad, and the meal plan says have this but please avoid that, that's going to magnify an existing issue. Or potentially in some cases may create an issue that's not there.
Yeah.
I know for me, I prefer to encourage people to actually expand
Yes.
their palate, because most people are doing well to make 5 food choices a week. Let's get some more happening to give you more variety and color and taste and texture. Let's not reduce it. So I just much prefer to say to people, like, let's go try some new things, see what's a hit, what's a miss. We go from there.
Yeah.
That's a red flag. So what does a green flag look like? Well, a green flag looks like education, learning about nutrition. What is the role of proteins, carbs, fats? Then learning how to integrate this knowledge into your life, learn how to recognize the cues that your body gives you on what foods work best for you. And this is also potentially reason number one why meal plans don't work too well. You don't learn what your body responds to best or what it maybe doesn't like.
Yeah.
Because I'll probably give you a meal plan based on what works for Matt. But both of us can speak to this. Certain foods that work for Matt don't work for Courtney. So if Courtney gets Matt's meal plan, how's that going to work?
Yes.
Not
and
too
sometimes
good.
you don't know intolerances potentially until you start certain things, and it needs to be customizable and adjustable from there.
Yeah. So the next part, before we move on, Courtney, the next part with a green flag on meal plans is ones that don't require you to live by the numbers.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a benefit in learning how to track, how to record data. In some cases, for a short period of time, there can be benefit even in tracking calories.
Yeah.
But doing it every day, forever?
Yeah.
I don't do it. Why should you?
Yeah.
Another green flag to look for is one where they want you to be calorie aware and be aware of the choices you're making and, learning how to read a nutrition label, not being a slave to numbers.
Got it. Good. All right. Moving on. Sign number 2 is copy and paste training programs.
Same as sign number 1, but training program instead of meal plan.
Yeah, pretty much.
My work here is done. So it's my beef here is when custom, individualized, bespoke training programs are given to everyone. How is it custom if Courtney gets the same training program as Matt?
Yes.
Or vice versa. When Matt is a 40-something-year-old male, Courtney's a 20-something?
Oh, yes, we'll go with that.
20 or 30-something-year-old female who may have different goals, different abilities, different experience, different conditions. A training program that's clearly being given to the people before you and will clearly be given to the people after you is going to hurt you because it is not specifically designed around you, your goals, your abilities, the equipment you have access to, but also potentially, in some cases, exercises that may bring back up niggles or issues.
Pre-existing injuries, yeah.
Yeah, like that's not really going to help.
No.
So that is where a massive red flag comes up. When it just looks like off-the-shelf templates are being handed out. Now, I'm a big fan of structure, and when I give training programs to people, I do work within a certain framework that I am very rigid on this framework. But within that framework, within those boundaries, it is nothing but adaptable.
Yes.
Nothing but flexible, nothing but individual, because you have to meet someone at their level.
Yeah, I feel like you're always going to have certain programs or exercises within programs that you are sort of your go-tos for certain beginner levels or advanced levels, things like that, or you're going to have the structure of your exercise programs that you feel really works.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. It's more, I guess, in this particular example, it's more about that being so rigid that it's not taking into consideration any nuances about the client that it's been designed for.
Nuance is the right word to use. I would also add, in addition to that, having a training program or a plan where there is clearly no baked in progression. Like if we are doing or undertaking a strength training program, what should be the goal of the strength training program? You guessed it, to get stronger. Whoa, never saw it coming. How do we do that? Well, there's ways to look at it where it's like, okay, am I tracking what I'm doing each week? Am I striving to slowly and in a controlled manner, a strategic manner, gradually increase the load that I'm asking my body to move week on week? If the answer is no, well, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So it's a red flag. So, okay, what does a green flag look like for a training program? Well, it looks like it's got structure and it has purpose for every single time you walk into the gym, be it your home gym or the gym. You walk in there knowing, right, this is what I did last week. This is what I'm going to do this week. And I'm going to see if I can beat these things. Contrast that to walking in and it's like, well, what am I going to do today? Oh, the leg press is free. I might do that. Oh, squat rack's free. I might go do some bicep curls. That's not structure.
No.
So we're looking for structure and we're looking for progression. So there is a clear purpose every time we walk in. Next.
Smashing these out.
You've gone down to...
Oh, sorry. You're right. We're up to number 3. All right. Sign number 3 is the quote-unquote custom plan, which is AI generated.
There's more of this coming.
Yes. This is a fairly new one, obviously, with the progression of AI in society and how good it's becoming. AI is getting really good. So obviously most of us are using it more and more. So it's no wonder it is becoming quite big in the health and fitness space. Just like most other industries, I think it's getting really big. I think, again, this probably relates back to, I think, the previous two as well. I think they come sort of together, which is we come back to the word custom or individualized or designed for, terms like that. It's that when this becomes an issue because it becomes very generic again. So what you're getting is something generic, but it's being marketed as something custom or something designed for the individual.
Yep. If it's been spat out by AI in a matter of seconds and then sold to you as a custom plan, you're being ripped off.
Yeah. And I don't think necessarily AI is terrible. Would I be going to AI for my own personal health and fitness goals? Probably not. But I'm not going to say don't do it in general. Like, I don't know enough about it. You use AI a lot more than I do.
I actually have had both ChatGPT and Claude. I've tested them both out for giving me a training program. At best, it got me 70% of where I want to be.
Okay.
But I know, for example, the software that the Academy program is built on, it's called PT Distinction, if you want to go look it up. PT Distinction, much like Trainer Eyes and other sort of online fitness / coaching apps, they all now have inbuilt AI meal plan generators. They have inbuilt AI training program generators. And I was just talking to Courtney about this before we hit the record button. I'm currently on a streak of having generated 0 meal plans and 0 training plans in our software. And that's not going to change because the weakness with AI is nuance.
Yes, that is the big weakness. And I think that it's even And you see that, right? Because even when you use AI probably to ask questions for yourself, it still doesn't understand the full nuance. And you're asking it questions related to yourself, let alone if somebody is designing something to be mass produced. So, yeah, as I said, I think with this sign, the big red flag is really comes down to, again, words like custom, designed for, individualized, things like that, when it's clearly not. When it's been clearly mass generated, when questions aren't being asked to gauge, what your history is with injury or what your capacity is to do certain exercises, where you're going to be even doing the exercises, what your eating habits are, what your tastes are, what your lifestyle is like, any allergies, things like that. Obviously, if none of that information is being factored into the plans that you're being given, the chances are pretty high that it is going to be a pretty mass-produced plan.
Yeah, and it costs you because, like I said before, the ones that I've designed maybe at best got me 70% of where I need to go. But if you're paying for something specific to you, and you are being given something that you could have generated out of an AI, like, why are you paying money? Just go and get your free ChatGPT account, do it yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. And this isn't also to say that you should never do anything that's been mass produced. You have to do something individualized. Would I recommend it? Yes, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do it. I guess the main red flag here is that it should then be marketed that way. It should be marketed in the way that you understand that this is something that is not customizable to you. It is very much a set and forget kind of plan.
I will agree and disagree with what Courtney just said. I will tell you that no, you should go and if you're going to pay money for a custom program, you should go and do it, because if we are generating a training program for someone out of AI, if you want to find out if this is really going to be, is this AI or not, ask your coach, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why these exercises? Why this sequence? Why these reps? Why these sets?
Well, I guess that's the green flag, right? In this situation, is that the coach is able to actually explain the reasoning behind.
It is, but before we get to that, the reason why I disagree with you on one of those things, Courtney, is because if we are just being given a mass-produced training program, how are you possibly going to learn why it is designed the way it is? How are you going to learn how to, in my belief, eventually develop the ability to write your own training plan for yourself? Could you do that? If I asked you, Courtney, question without notice, on your next 12-week block, you write your own program for yourself. You think you could do it based on your experience so far since we've met?
Yeah.
My job's done in that respect then.
Yes.
That's important to me. Where if we're getting it mass-produced out of AI, what are you going to learn? It's just another template.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I am a fan of AI in certain areas because it can be a very useful tool, to put it mildly. But the scam here is charging custom money for generic plan without the human nuance or reasoning around it. Yep. So yes, as Courtney said before, what does the green flag look like? Actually having a coach that coaches the plan and coaches you through that plan.
Yep.
Cool. So before we move on, Courtney, you've got to give a bit of a shout out to a tool that was developed by this guy right here called the Clarity 3. What the hell is the Clarity 3? If you are the sort of person that finds yourself asking this question, where do I even start? Where do I go from here? This tool is designed to help with that. So it's just to help you identify the 3 habits that are worth you focusing on right now to get you started or restarted in the right direction. 3 habits that actually move the needle. If you ask yourself that question, where do I even start? Go to our Instagram, which is
the Weight Loss Podcast.
Yes, indeed. And just DM us the word clarity and we will send you this tool. Super helpful. because I used to be someone who would ask this question all the time: where to from here? Like, what? So many options and things to focus on. What do I focus on next? This is what I will give to my younger self.
Perfect.
So
All right.
let's move on, Courtney, to
Sign number 4.
the next red flag.
Check-in theatre.
Now,
You liked this heading title.
hey, give myself some credit. Check-ins in some capacity are very useful
Yes.
in the coaching space because it is part of communication and feedback and understanding where a person is, accountability, understanding what they're doing well, what they're struggling with, getting an idea on what their next right thing to focus on might be. However, there is a difference between generic check-ins where all you receive back is just copy and paste attaboys or attagirls, as opposed to actual, real human acknowledgement and feedback and direction. Now, when I say feedback and direction, I'm not saying that every time you do a check-in form or a check-in on a phone call or a video call or whatever the program does, it's not about being given something new all the time to focus on, because sometimes the best feedback to give someone are the following words: you're on track, keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, that is the goal that I have for every single person I've ever worked with, is to be able to say those words: you're on track, it's working, keep doing what you're doing, don't change a thing. Because in that case, less is more. But it's very different to just being given just generic, glib, oh, you great, go get them sort of advice. And it costs you because it doesn't feel like accountability.
No.
It doesn't feel like communication and connection and coaching and education, because nothing actually changes. The idea of feedback and coaching should be able to, it should be designed to help you improve your behavior in situations that come up in your life. If it's not helping you to improve your behavior, what are you paying for? Exactly. So the tells for this are when you're getting just glib responses, or what seems like it's like responses that aren't they're not congruent to what you've said. Like if someone says to me, yeah, I did well this week with my training, I hit every single training session, but man, my food choices fell apart on the weekend because you know what? I just did meal prep at the back end of the week. And the response you get from the coach is, well done, make sure to hit your training sessions next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was me, the way I'd respond to something like that would be, great, well done, you hit your training sessions, keep doing that. You clearly paid the price for a lack of meal prep because it fell apart on the weekend. So your mission for next week is to not let that happen again. Then on the next check-in form, if you come back and say, did it, my weekend was fantastic, same situation, new behavior, you win.
Yeah.
You're moving in the right direction.
Yes.
So that is what the green flag looks like in this situation, where we get, or you get feedback that is specific to you and your situation and where you're at, and has you moving forward in momentum.
Yes.
Because we need that feeling. If we feel like we're not moving forward in momentum, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Next one.
All right. Sign number 5 is they tell you what you want to hear.
This is almost like building on from the last one.
Definitely related to the last one.
But we can take it a step further, because it is, sure you've had this where you've got people that are just too nice.
Yeah, this one isn't a generic feedback as such. This one would be more personalised, but it's definitely more, they're going to give you good feedback regardless of what you've done.
Let me rephrase this. It is the coach that will not call you out on your bullshit.
Yes.
Because is a common thing in my experience with people is that they appreciate they don't always like, but they appreciate having someone who is honest enough and respects them enough to say what is bullshit and call what is bullshit when they see it.
Yes.
And it's not about being a drill sergeant or yelling at people or treating them like children, because I think you've got to be even-handed.
Yes.
If someone is kicking ass, tell them that they're kicking ass. But if someone's taking the piss,
Yes.
like, mate, what are you doing?
Yes.
Like, what are we doing here? And this is where, yes, there should be a relationship that is formed between coach and client, because it is a partnership. It should be a partnership. But the coach has to know when to take off the friend hat and when to put on the coach hat.
Yes.
Because they're two different things.
Yes.
And so the way that this costs you is because you should be, in theory, paying for the truth and the reality and the feedback and the direction that you can't give to yourself. Having a yes coach keeps you comfortable and it avoids hard conversations. It also keeps you stuck right where you are.
Yes. So obviously the green flag to that is the opposite, right? So it is the coach who is willing to hold you accountable, to ask the difficult questions or have the difficult check-ins when things aren't going well, and not just placate and try to breeze past it because it's the easier thing to do.
Yes.
It is the setting aside time to check in, to say, things don't seem to be going well. Why don't you tell me why? You know, it's building up. And I actually feel like this one as well, when you're not able to do that, you don't build up trust with a coach. You're not then willing to go to that coach when things are getting tough, to rely on them, you know, or even just vent out your frustrations, or, you know, maybe open up about some emotional baggage that you've realized that you've been holding on for a long time, things like that. It's going to hold you back from that standpoint too, because you're not going to build trust with that coach. And then you're not going to be able to move past and move through some of these things when it comes to accountability and education.
Yeah, there has to be a willingness to have uncomfortable conversations that are in service of your greater good. But in a way, to be fair, that isn't judgmental.
No.
That doesn't use your vulnerability as ammunition against you.
No, and it could go the opposite way too. If you've got a coach who's just literally always finds the worst thing in you and isn't celebrating the wins and isn't
give him the flick,
isn't being constructive with the criticism and educational, then that applies to this too. So it's not necessarily just someone who's placating you. If you've got a coach who's literally being a bully, then that isn't going to help either.
I think there has to be, for me, a good coach is almost like a chameleon.
Yeah.
In that they can adapt their communication and their teaching style to meet each individual where they are, in congruence with their communication style, their learning style. Because I know for me, I've met people that are wide, say, like me, where it's like, I don't like vague. I don't like indirect. I don't like soft. The way I look at it is, if you're going to give me feedback, give it to me with a sledgehammer, not with a pillow. But that's not everyone.
No, and sometimes that takes a little bit to figure out. Sometimes there's going to be a filling out period with a new coach. You have to try to figure out how to communicate with each other. And that's okay as long as there's progress towards a better form of communication and feedback generally, and accountability. But if it's a stock standard thing and it's always the same, then it's not going to be helpful.
If they talk to all their clients the same, then you have to assume either every single person they work with is wired the same, which is not very likely, or they have a one-size-fits-all approach.
More often than not, it's the afraid to give constructive feedback is where it comes in. So it is the placating. It's always the encouragement. It's always the cheerleader, which is great. You need a cheerleader, but you also do need somebody for accountability. You need somebody to point out from an educational standpoint where you could have done better and how to do better next time.
I think it's just someone who knows when it's time for a high five and a pat on the back and when it's time to put the boot up the arse.
Yeah. So that's that one. Good? Okay. Number 6. So sign number 6 is they sell a quick fix and not a long-term game.
You've struggled with your emotional eating and a sedentary lifestyle and a poor relationship with food, with body, with self for 10, 15, 20, 25 plus years. But hey, come over here and do my 8-week program.
Yeah.
No.
No. Well, especially when it's designed as, hey, it'll fix everything. Whereas, like, it's very different, right? If you had somebody who says, come over here and try this 8-week program to get started or to learn the fundamentals or, you know, that sort of thing. But when a lot of them aren't advertised like that, right? They're advertised as a fix.
I think if I'm going to steel man the short-term approach, this is how I would do it. You market it as what Courtney said, something to get you started and get you into forward momentum, or potentially a beginner's program, an introductory level program, 100%. If the short-term program is the only thing they've got on offer, you have a problem.
Yes. That's probably the biggest difference with this, I find.
Yep. So I also think in conjunction with this is if people, I know from my experience that anyone that I've worked with, they never sign up wanting to buy the training program. They never sign up wanting to pay for nutrition. Like, no one gives a shit about that stuff. People sign up, sometimes without realizing it, to be assisted in developing skills and knowledge and habits that are healthy and repeatable, that will serve them in any situation that comes up in their life moving forward and can be adaptable as they move through different seasons in their life. I got to tell you, you ain't doing that in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks. It's just not happening. There is a specific reason why, like the Weight Loss Podcast Academy is designed as a minimum 2-year program. And no, it's not because I love the idea of people staying on longer. I want to get the result as fast as possible, but you also have to learn how to keep it.
Yes.
And that takes time. So it costs you, the reason this red flag costs you is because doing things in short bursts, yes, they may help you get a slingshot of momentum forward, yes. But long term, you are not building skills. You are not developing long-term, repeatable, healthy habits. It's a sprint. So how do we approach this? Well, if you are signing up for a short-term program, I would ask them the following question. What happens after the program ends? Just ask that question. And that's also a green flag, is what good should look like with this is that you are undertaking a program that is designed and built for the long game, and in my opinion, is designed so that you can eventually take what you are developing and take them forward with you through your life. Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope. I think that one covers it.
And that will actually, that does, I think, go nicely into this next one.
Yeah, I agree. So number 7 is they build dependency on purpose.
This is actually, I said with number 1, that is the reddest of red flags. No, I take that back. This is the reddest of red flags, where the business model is built on you having to need them or having to keep coming back forever.
Yeah. So that's why it does relate well to the quick fix short-term solution, as with which was sign number 6, because often that does create a bit of a dependency on continuing to redo the same program over and over and over again.
How to know when the model is designed on you needing to stay forever? When you look at anything you've done multiple times. And this is why one of the questions I always ask people is, what have you tried in the past and how many times have you tried them? some of the things I've been told are just staggering. Like the current record that I'm waiting to get broken is a woman who told me last year that she'd done Weight Watchers 12 times. That's 12, 1, 2. 12 times. And my response was, one, are you serious? But then secondly, well, what does that tell you? Like, how can you say this has worked for you if you've had to go back 11 more times?
Yes.
Because the same loop was being repeated. Pay for program, do program, get some success, stop program, relapse, repeat cycle.
Yes.
Now, sometimes you may need to go back and do it again for things to sink in.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, my belief is that the program should be designed so that eventually you don't need to keep doing and paying for the same stuff again and again and again.
You shouldn't have to pay for the program 12 times. I do agree. Sometimes it's not a one and done thing. We're all human. We make mistakes. Sometimes we think our habits have changed and then they actually haven't, and we go backwards, and then we need a bit of a reset. Maybe we need a bit of help with accountability to reset, things like that. Stuff is going to happen. So I agree. Sometimes it's not out of the realm of reason that you have to do a program more than once. You shouldn't have to do a program 12 times.
No, I think that's where it goes into the category of taking the piss.
Yes.
When it's like, even like I've had people that said they've done certain programs like 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. It's like, what are we getting out of
fall
this?
into the category of either unsustainable, or they're not teaching you how to maintain. There's no maintenance phase, or they're not teaching you how to adapt the program for future use, things like that. So, yeah.
I know for me,
it's a big red flag.
It's a gigantic red flag. I know for me, the way I approach things with the Academy is that the aim is to help people develop so well that they don't need it anymore. If they want to stay in and they want to continue being coached, that is different from feeling like you need to.
Yeah.
I prefer to create or help people build a self-sufficient, independent version of themselves.
That's the goal. Yes.
That is definitely the goal. So what does the green flag look like? Well, in my opinion, it needs to be led through education and skills first, with your self-sufficiency and your independence being the goal that they have. So you might have the goal of, I want to look better, I want to drop some clothes sizes, I want to stop hiding from photos, or I want to, for some people I've worked with, they want to get back into the dating scene. Like, hey, great.
Yep.
You've got that goal for yourself. My goal for you is not just that you hit those, but that you don't need to keep coming back to try and hit them again and again and again.
Yeah.
Cool?
Yep.
So one more mention of the Clarity 3. As I said before, if you are the sort of person that constantly wonders, where do I even start? What do I have, where do I begin with this? I've developed a tool that will give you the 3 habits to work on straight away to get you moving in the right direction. It'll take you all of 5 minutes to figure this out, so it's a very quick win. Just find us on Instagram, the Weight Loss Podcast. DM us, what word, Courtney?
Clarity.
And we will send the tool right over. Get on it. It's super helpful.
Nice. All right. We are almost done home stretch. So sign number 8 is no relevant qualification/experience.
This is where a mistake that a lot of coaches make, often it can be a rookie mistake, is thinking they can help everyone.
Yeah.
You definitely cannot help everyone. In fact, the best coaches are specific. They know exactly who they can help, what problems they can solve, but also what problems they can't solve.
Mm.
And they have the willingness to say no to money.
Yeah.
That's a big one. So this is where, if you, for example, are someone who has a goal of wanting to, let's say, drop 40 kilograms. I'm just pulling that number out of my butt. I'm going to drop 40 kilograms. I would recommend seeking help from people that have walked a similar path to you, because there's a difference once you can put empathy into it.
Yeah.
And that's why I know for me, like if someone comes to me with a goal that I either haven't done myself or haven't had success helping others with, I'm going to say no. I'm going to point them somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if someone comes to us and says, I want to run a marathon, that's fantastic. However, neither of us have ever done that.
I've never done it. I've never coached someone to do it. And just quite frankly, I've no interest in doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't fire me up.
But we know coaches
There's millions out there.
And who will be great at it.
So you're looking for specificity with coaches. Do they help, and do they have a history of helping people like you solve problems like yours? And in many cases, not always, but in many cases, have they done it themselves?
Yeah.
Like I know for me with my background, if someone comes to me and says, Matt, be honest, could you help me get in great shape, lose a bunch of weight and reverse type 2 diabetes? Hell effing yes, I can. Well, why is that? Because I've done it. Cool.
Yeah. I think personal experience plays a really big part. Do I think, we're not saying that it is the only part. We've known a lot of great personal trainers who have helped a lot of clients lose weight, for instance, and they have not personally ever had an overweight problem themselves.
But that's because they've helped others to do it. So they've validated that experience.
But they've had the upskilling, and then they've been able to put that into practice and help others. So then they have learnt a lot of that stuff.
I think the point that we're making there is there's proof.
Yeah.
We're looking for proof. So if there's not proof that they have helped people like you solve problems like yours, I think that is a red flag.
Yeah.
Unless I'm going to steel man this one, unless they're brand new to the industry and they're looking to get experience, in which case, I'm not going to be judging that.
I'm literally going to say with this one, I think that that's a big one to bring up, is that this isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. It mostly comes down to what the coach is marketing the program at. So to me, it comes down to the promises that are being put out there and what they have to back that up. I think that if coaches are new to the industry or they're new to training a particular style of client and they're honest about that, and they're able to be upfront and honest and show you their knowledge, but maybe they don't have the experience to back that up, or, from a practical standpoint or something like that, I think that's completely fine. We all have to start somewhere. However, I think that what gets me is when people are advertising falsely. So they're advertising things that they can't back up in actual evidence.
A good question to ask to find this one out: ask someone, who can't you help?
Yeah.
Because I know if someone asked me that, I'll give you an extensive list.
Yeah.
Of who I can't help, from goals to traits to attitudes. I know specifically who I can and can't help. I'd ask that question.
Yeah. And I mean, look, when it comes down to nutrition and exercise too, depending on the programs, it can be on the dangerous side if there's somebody who's trying to promise to do something that they're not equipped to be able to handle. So I think that that's where, what am I trying to say? That's where it can be on the extreme. It might sound extreme, but that can be on the dangerous side.
I can give you an example I've seen previously when you've had overweight people go to bodybuilding coaches for weight loss. And what does the bodybuilding coach specialize in? You would never guess it, bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So they put the overweight person who has emotional eating habits and a poor relationship with food on a strict bodybuilding training approach and meal plan, and it blows up in their face. It is a good example because I've been told stories like this from people that I've worked with. It can
be dangerous from a standpoint of relationship, psychological relationship with food, physically dangerous because of some of the effects of the deprivation and the cutting.
Yep.
Yeah, it can.
So the lack of specificity is what I call trying to put the round peg into the square hole. It's not a fit.
Mm.
Good coaches with a well-designed program know exactly who it and they can help, and then by contrast know who they cannot help.
Great. Perfect. All right. Sign number 9. They diet hop, meaning the coaches or the experts in this, they are the they. They diet hop and chase fads themselves.
This is a giveaway because a lot of people, and I know this for a fact, a lot of people they become personal trainers or they become coaches because they think it'll solve their problems when it comes to their relationship with food, their disordered eating. You know how I know this? One of the reasons I first got into personal training when I was younger, though I wasn't that young, but when I was in my early 30s, was because I thought to myself, this will guarantee I never go backwards again.
No, it doesn't work.
No,
it's not that easy, unfortunately.
It's the same way I see a lot of people get into fitness and physique competitions thinking that getting super lean and super shredded will help overcome their relationship with food. And it just makes it actually worse. And so you can also see this, and this is not about people, you can't change your mind. People are allowed to change their mind. I've changed my mind on things in this industry since I started heaps of times. But that's different to, you might have a coach who, that last year they were going plant-based and this year they're carnivore. And the next thing they do, they've gone keto. They've gone this, they've gone that. Like, really?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Without really any specific reason.
It becomes apparent that they're chasing trends as opposed to having a stable set of principles to teach you. So how can you teach someone stability and focus and building foundations if the person doing the teaching is constantly demolishing their own foundations to rebuild the bloody things?
Yes.
You know? So the real easy way to tell and spot this red flag is just look at what they show on their own content, be it their Instagram or, hey, listen to our podcast. Go and see what we've changed our mind on with fundamentals over the years. Not a whole lot, but it appears that they are just jumping from fad to fad to fad.
Mm-hmm.
So what does the green flag look like? Well, the green flag looks like boring, stable fundamentals that don't change because we're chasing an algorithm boost.
Yeah, and changes with purpose, I would say. So when the change is made, it's usually really should be with purpose. So there's a reason, there's a purpose behind the change, which is easy to understand, but it's not just because they got bored with what they were doing.
There is a difference between changing what you're doing because you're bored versus changing what you're doing or changing your mind on things based on actual quality evidence.
Yeah.
And or experience.
Experience, maybe something to do with your own health has changed, intolerances, just bringing up as a something. As we get older, maybe we've noticed that we can handle certain food differently. I don't know. There's certain things here. But
what I would do if I was researching a coach who appears to be jumping from thing to thing, me being me, I'd just ask them, like, hey, can you just explain, like, what's the purpose behind you? I've noticed you've gone from this to this and then this to that. How come?
Yeah.
Because maybe there is a good reason.
They very well could be.
But also maybe there is not.
If it's with purpose, then it's fine.
It's just something, it's a flag to be mindful of and to look out for.
Yes.
One more.
All right. Sign number 10. It's all marketing and no method.
They've got a squillion followers. Their reels go viral and have millions of people view and comment. They have a sales funnel that is so slick it feels greasy. Everything at the front end is just professional and high level and dialed in. And then once you've paid the money, where's everyone gone?
Yeah.
You're given, there's your training plan, there's your meal plan, there's your macros, there's your calories. Good luck.
No check-ins.
Off
no
you go.
Follow-up, no accountability.
This is where you have, and this, I don't blame you for this, by the way, but you've paid for the marketing and you've bought into the marketing, but there's no method, there's nothing behind it.
There's no structure.
Beware vanity metrics like followers, like views. They are not a sign of competence. Because I know for a fact, I've seen this, and I actually saw this before this all went online. When I used to work in gyms doing face-to-face training. I would see trainers that had the gift of the gab, very, very good at persuasion and convincing and selling. And then once you watched them on the gym floor delivering, it's like, oh, I see. This is a version of all marketing, no method. What we're looking for is for a system or a program or a structure that backs up what happened once you went in. Because I'm sure you've done this before yourself. I've had feedback like this delivered to me where people have been, for lack of a better phrase, sucked into the program. And they had all these expectations and hopes and excitement going in, and there was nothing on the back end.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just, there's your spreadsheet, there's your PDF, or now what's going to happen these days is there's something I just flicked out of ChatGPT.
Yep.
See you later. You want to look for someone that can actually articulate their structure and their approach in a way that goes beyond what we call jazz hands and U-Butte photos. Now, like I'm a big proponent of transformation photos, but hey, I'm not going to lie. If I wanted to be that dodgy dude, I can go into ChatGPT now and generate some pretty good before and after photos.
Yes.
It's not that hard to do that now. But you want to make sure when you're doing your homework, and I would recommend strongly asking as many questions as you need to.
Yeah.
To confirm either way, I'm going to go forward with this, or something's not quite hitting right. Ask as many questions as you need to figure out, is this more than just marketing? Is there an actual roadmap here? Do you have a process to take me through that takes me from day 0 beginner to maybe month 12 or year 2 high level advanced client? And that is what the green flag looks like. They can explain what they do and how they do it in a clear, concise, and in some ways comprehensive, without being too complex, method that can be communicated to you in clear English.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to add there?
No, I think that is all for that one.
Well, let's bring this one to a close with a recap.
Yes.
The first thing I want to do with the recap is just to say, when this episode and this video or audio hasn't been about taking a shit on people. It's about raising standards. And this is as much for my benefit as anyone else's, because standards need to be continually raised. And that coaches aren't all bad people. Like, the vast majority of us got into this because we feel good helping others.
And certain coaches will always evolve and change over time. I think the point of this list is more, as we've mentioned a couple of times with each of these signs, there's red flags, green flags. So, the point of this is really be mindful of the red flags and watch out for the green flags, really.
Well, there is a through line. If you go back through this whole list, there is a through line with that. These red flags we've been talking about, they tend to keep you dependent.
Yeah.
They tend to teach you nothing.
Little, yes.
They don't help you build skills and habits that can be carried forward with you.
They don't have a lot of help with accountability.
Well, I think when it comes to effective coaching, you have to be able to help people establish a foundation that can survive life.
Yeah. And again, that comes back down to that educational component and learning and working on habits,
Well, I think
and having something that can evolve with you as
but I
as
think it's
the years
also
go on.
something that's designed for you to be self-sufficient, so you don't have to feel that you need to keep coming back and paying. Like, if the program only works because you're paying, I don't think it's very good,
No,
personally. So we're done.
done.
Now, if you want to do a bit more of a deep dive into this, I did a training on YouTube that goes pretty high level into the most common mistakes that tend to keep people like us stuck. I would strongly recommend that the next step for you from here is to go and invest the time and energy into going through this training with me. I will put a link to it in the episode description below. So go check it out. That's your next step from here. Other than that, we're done.
We're done.
What's up? Terrible high five.
Remy's around here. He always seems to come over at the end of our episodes.
Yeah, we know when it's time to wrap up because the pug has come to join us.
He's sick of being ignored.
So we hope you got a lot out of this. As always, we are very receptive and open to questions, comments, feedback. Just drop them below or email us at podcast@theweightlosspodcast.com, and we will see you next week.
Bye.